Hello, my name is Ramasi, and these videos are originally meant for a few of my guildies, but I know as I'm posting them on YouTube that there are some people who might end up watching them. This is mostly to learn how to play a Holy Priest because we have an RBG team and the Holy Priest needed some help, and I know how to do that. Currently I'm going to go through the glyphs and talents and macros and some of the abilities that Holy Priests have so that you will know what I'm doing in the rest of the videos. The first few macros you see on here are general for all of my characters. You have some for decursive, one that toggles recount like this. One that swaps the action bar down here at the left. The bottom left action bar changes. It's really nice if you have a lot of abilities and don't have a lot of keybinds, as if when you play a priest. And then the last two are just basically things I use to send out messages real quick, like for trade chat messages or to give people vent when we are in raids for puggers. Now this is my specific macros for this character. As you can see, some of them are turned out because they are for Disc Priest or for Shadow Priest. This one right here is for all priests. It's just a simple thing that when I click the first time it implies inner fire, and the next time it'll apply inner will, allowing me to easily switch between the two armor abilities. The next one is a Disc Priest only one, and the only reason it shows up is because I also have Greater Heal for Holy Priest. This is my Guardian Spirit macro. It'll cast my Unused Trinket, Guardian Spirit, and Power Word Shield on the target. It's basically the oh shit button. You'll see me use it occasionally. The next one is for Flash Shield for Holy. When I normal click it, it just does a normal Flash Shield. If I hold down Shift and Flash Shield, it will use my Unused Trinket before, so I can get a little mini burst of healing, especially when people use their burst cooldowns on the target that I'm trying to heal. The only other one that applies to Holy also applies to all of them. And that's this one. It basically makes your Shadow Fiend instantaneously cast Shadow Crawl and attack the target, whatever target you're currently targeting. If your Shadow Fiend is not attacking a target, like if your target dies or you want it to attack a new target, click the button again, and it'll move to the target. If Shadow Crawl is off cooldown, it will instantaneously teleport to them. After that, you have the talents. This is my default talent spec. Now this does change depending on the enemy comp. Mostly this is only ever in arenas that I do change this, because RBGs usually have it. But for instance, Void Tendrils is a root. If you're facing a bunch of casters, you really don't need a root. So in that case, Psyfiend becomes more important. Reason why I use Void Tendril over Psyfiend is because Psyfiend shares the same cooldown with Psychic Scream, or Diminishing Returns, not cooldown. Dominate Mind is useful, but only if people aren't going to interrupt you, and most higher rating players are going to interrupt you or do something to not let you have a very long Dominate Mind cast whatsoever. For these talents, Body and Soul is really good for Disc Priests, but because of the 6-second cooldown for everyone else, Body and Soul is not the greatest, but you still can use it. Angelic Feather is great. You can just drop it, put the Angelic Feather on the ground and run through it, soak in any of your allies and get 80% movement speed. You can use it for 80% movement speed on yourself for a very long time, considering the charge versus recharge. I personally use Phantasm because neither Body and Soul nor Angelic Feather will equal above normal movement speed whenever you are snared or rooted, and using Phantasm allows you to use Fade and get out of roots and snares and be unhindered by them for 5 seconds. This is a default talent, of course. Sometimes there are people who don't use roots and snares, in which case I normally use Angelic Feather as a Holy Priest. The 45 talents are really the only two that are really useful in PvP are From Darkness Comes Light, which gives you a 15% chance when you use any healing spell or smite to make your next make your next flash shield instant cast or have no mana cost. It stacks twice. It's RNG, and it's I use it personally because those instant casts are nice in RBGs and in arenas where people are in your face and you want as many instant casts as possible. Mindbender generally regenerates more mana over the course of a fight as long as you remember to use it. Solace Insanity causes your Holy Fire to basically not have a mana cost and instead regenerate 1% of your mana. Now, this is awesome for raiding because you can actually use that Holy Fire and it actually does damage. In PvP, it really doesn't do a lot of damage, and you'd have to remember to use it every 10 seconds. Your level 60 talents, Desperate Prayer heals the most compared to Angelic Bulwark, but only a few percent more based off the cooldown, like the internal cooldown of Angelic Bulwark. And you cannot use Desperate Prayer when you're CC'd, whereas Angelic Bulwark will proc when you're a CC, which is why I mostly use Angelic Bulwark for RBGs. Spectral Guise is a gimmick and it can avoid you taking damage, but if you're under heavy fire from several players, your true form is going to be hit by 3 direct attacks pretty quickly, and you're going to be out of stealth. But you can use it to avoid things like a Chaos Bolt, and I have seen a lot of priests use it effectively. For the average priest, it is better off to just use Angelic Bulwark. For your 75 talents, I use Twist of Fate because odds are, in a match, you're going to be healing someone who's below 35% health often enough to have this buff up. That's basically 15% increased healing. Anytime you heal someone that's below 35% health, it's extremely nice. If you find that you need more burst healing, Power Infusion allows you to cast your spells faster and reduces the mana cost of them. It has a cooldown, but, you know, if you find you only need that burst heal every 2 minutes for 20 seconds, it's really good. Divine Insight, every time you use Greater Heal or Prayer of Healing, your Prayer of Mending will bounce immediately between all of its targets and heal them. And if I remember correctly, yeah, triggers no cooldown. You don't really cast Greater Heal or Prayer Healing as much as you would like, and that 40% proc rate isn't the greatest. It's really good for raiding because you will cast Greater Heal or Prayer Healing a lot. But as for the 75 talent, it's pretty much whatever you find is best for you is really good to use. I mean, Twist of Fate has the easiest, it's passive, it's just whatever. When you heal people, you heal below 35%, you heal more. Power Infusions for burst, and Divine Insight is mostly for additional AoE healing. Your level 90 talents, Divine Star, or let's just start with Cascade. Cascade is one of the easiest to use. It'll bounce between all targets, and it'll pretty much almost always give the most amount of healing it can possible, because it bounces the farthest target away. It's pretty easy to use. It's fire and forget, and it'll heal a lot of targets. You can also use it offensively, but I don't recommend it because in PvP, of course, you don't do much damage. Divine Star heals for everyone in front of you, has the most healing on yourself compared to the other two 90 talents, and technically counts as a divine spell. So if you are wholly locked out, say you're casting Flash Heal and someone interrupts you, you can still cast Divine Star to heal yourself or other players, which is the main reason why I use it. Halo has the most potential for healing others, but they have to be exactly 25 yards away from you. This is kind of hard to track, especially if you're not using an add-on. If you want to use Halo, I recommend downloading the Halo Pro add-on. It's basically a range check modifier that will show you when people are the optimal range. Also, you're more likely to heal more players with Halo if they're within 40 yards of you. They'll at least get some healing, and it will damage enemies at the same time. What it does not do is pull people out of stealth, whereas Divine Star will. For glyphs, the 3 major glyphs that I use standard, which does not mean that I use them all the time, is Glyph of Renew for the additional increases more per tick, because you know when you're in Chakra Serenity, which is your single target chakra, your Renew gets refreshed every time you cast a direct heal on them. I use Glyph of Inner Sanctum because spell damage hurts, and it is nice to occasionally have that increased movement speed with Inner Will. RBGs, this is why I have the Glyph of Purify, because dispelling is relatively important in RBGs, and you'll find that you do it a lot. Other glyphs that are really worthwhile having, the Glyph of Fade reduces your damage taken, especially, most of the time you want that, you'll have melee on you, and you'll use Fade to get out of a snare or a root. And this just gives you a nice flat damage reduction to go with that. Inner Fire is nice if the enemy's comp is almost entirely composed of physical damage. Warriors, rogues, hunters, death knights, the like. Mass Dispel. If you find that your team has no way of removing bubbles and ice blocks and etc., Mass Dispel is useful in that regard, but it does not always dispel the bubble or the ice block, so you could end up wasting it. Just depends on how many beneficial magic effects the enemy target has. Spirit of Redemption, if you find yourself dying a lot, I really don't use it because I don't rely on myself dying, in all honesty. There's some other ones that I have not gotten yet. Glyph of Prayer of Mending would be really nice to have, especially since you will see that I use Prayer of Mending a lot, as you should as a holy priest. Actually, as any priest, honestly. Minor glyphs really aren't that... They're minor, they don't do anything really important. Shifted Appearance is kind of cool. I mean, you can, especially if you have like a bear druid or something, you can shift appearance and you look like a bear druid, so if anyone's paying attention to your character model instead of your, like what your class is, by highlighting right here, where as you can see where it said down here, Undead Priest. If they see that and they see that you're a bear after you've life swapped your tank or something, they may or may not be less likely to attack you. Of course, this will probably only work against lower rating players. Abilities that you see on my bar down here. This is Renew, which is just a hot. Anytime you're in the... Well, I guess I should start with the chakras. You have 3 chakras of the Holy Priest. You have Chakra Serenity, which increases the effectiveness of your single target heals and refreshes the Renew on your target. This is the one you mostly want to be in. You want to start fights in this one because most times it's a single target that's taking a lot of damage and very little AoE damage. Your 4 set piece bonus for Holy Priest in your healing set is that it reduces the cooldown on your chakras by 25 seconds, meaning they have a 5-second cooldown. So you can easily change between your chakras really easy. The second chakra is Chakra Sanctuary, which turns your Holy Word Serenity into Holy Word Sanctuary. It also increases the effectiveness of your AoE healing spells and reduces the cooldown on Circle of Healing, one of your AoE healing spells. I don't recommend ever really using the Holy Word Sanctuary. As you can see, it doesn't tick for that much, and its healing's effectiveness is reduced if there are 6 more players in it. Also, the likelihood that anyone is going to be standing in this effect is minimal, and as you can see, the healing versus the mana is just not that efficient. There's other AoE heals you can use instead. The last chakra is Chakra Chastise, and it increases the damage you do by 50% and gives your smite a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown on your Holy Word Chastise. It turns your Holy Word into Chastise like this, which is a disorient, which is the only really reason why you should use it, because it doesn't do enough damage in PvP to be worthwhile. I really don't see any point where you would ever be in Chakra Chastise other than to use Holy Word, Chakra Chastise, and other words, except to use Holy Word Chastise. I guess if you are by yourself and you're fighting a target that can't self-heal, like a mage, then Holy Word Chakra Chastise will be really good about letting you kill them faster. Also, Holy Priests can do more damage than Disc Priests if they are in this chakra. As you will see in the later videos, some of the stuff that I'm talking about now, when you are single target healing, you're going to want to keep Renew up on targets at all time. Like if you're single target healing, you can also blanket your raid with it as a form of an AoE healing because of the 1-second global cooldown. As you can see, it does it really quick. You want to use your Holy Word Serenity pretty much on cooldown. If you can actually, like, if someone needs heals, you want to use it on cooldown. It is extremely mana efficient. If you use it on cooldown, you will find that you pretty much have... You don't have as many mana issues. Power Word Shield Do not treat it as a main heal. Treat it as an extra instant cast for yourself. Because it doesn't do that great of absorption. I mean, it does enough, but if you have any disc priests in your party, avoid casting it at all times. Um, but pretty much, yeah, use it as an instant cast. Same with Circle of Healing. Even if you're the only healing one target and you have something beating on your face, use Circle of Healing as a single target heal, but just because it's an instant cast. You do not want to be interrupted. Those holy lockouts will screw you, because the only thing you can really cast is your pet and your 2 CCs. I think that's it for this video, and I'll post more as I actually do stuff.